Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Scott Gamm, and we're going to be talking about not how to boost your immune system. See, there's so much information out there that's saying that this vitamin boosts your immune system, or this vegetable boosts your immune system, or this stress reduces your immune system. But the reality is that next to nothing truly has ever been shown to truly boost your immune system as a totality. Lots of bits and pieces have been shown to make improvements with these different things, but there's really no clear-cut scientific evidence that shows that this is the end all for what you need to do. And that's because you can't truly boost the immune system. What you can do is you can increase your health by decreasing your stress. See, that's the key to this whole journey of really becoming a stronger, healthier human, is that we have to decrease our stress. Now, the concept's similar to this, that if you had chronic wrist pain, one of the first things that you're gonna have to do, especially if it came from a repetitive stress injury, is stop stressing the injury, right? You put a brace on it, you'd stop moving it as much, and over time, the intelligence of your body would rebuild a healthier, stronger wrist that you stop putting a chronic stress into. Your body and your immune system work the exact same way. What we need to do is figure out how to reduce your stress emotionally, chemically, and even physically. And there are specific things that you can do that are going to do that. The first thing we're going to start to talk about is your emotional stress, and then your chemical stress, the physical stress. Your emotional stress is the first thing, because when you increase your emotional stress, you go into what's called the fight or flight part of the sympathetic nervous system, which is largely controlled by what's called your vagus nerve, which is the integration between your brain and your body that makes your heart get really fast, okay, your immune system to actually slow down, all the energy go in your arms and your legs and your mind, your digestion system to really go slow, and your body not to function very good. So what we want to do is figure out how to reduce that emotional stress. And there's a really important reason why. Because when stress goes up, adrenaline goes up. When adrenaline goes up, this thing called cortisol goes up. When cortisol goes up, what it causes is your body is become insulin resistant. Much like a diabetic is, but the insulin has the same binding post as this little thing called vitamin C. Okay, glucose and vitamin C are almost identical in nature. And when you have too much glucose in your system, what happens is you don't have the binding post available for vitamin C. And why is that important? Because vitamin C is one of the primary antioxidants that your body can use for flushing out all of the extra stuff. You see, when we're in an immune system response, meaning we have a virus, we have a bacterial infection going on, what we need to do is boost the healing capabilities of the body. The way you do that is by reducing stress. The first thing that we're going to talk about is how to get your mental stress more balanced. And the way that you do that is by breathing very, very consciously. There's a master out there named Wim Hof, W-I-M-H-O-F, and he has an app online that you can go check out, and that's a very systematic way of reducing the sympathetic stress on your immune system. And the reason you want to check that out is because at one point in time, Wim Hof was injected in a medical setting with researchers with what's called an endotoxin, and within 15 minutes, he literally used his conscious mind in a breathing technique to slow down his body, get it out of the sympathetic and into what's called the parasympathetic, which is the deep healing systems of the body. But when you're in fear, you're almost always in sympathetic. So he used his mind to calm everything down. I'm going to teach you the simplest, fastest technique right now for doing very much a concept of that on your own in a moment. And that is this. We call it a parasympathetic breath. And the breath looks like this, is that what you're going to do is you're going to breathe through your nose very intensely and very sharply. You're going to be breathing into this area right back in here, which is the base of your brainstem. The reason that's important is because your sympathetic nervous system is largely controlled by your vagus nerve, and your vagus nerve comes right out of the brainstem, right where your atlas is, and it innervates all of these organs to slow down. Well, we want them to speed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to calm the nervous system. So by breathing in through your nose sharply, and you're going to breathe all the way down into your belly. In fact, you're going to try to breathe all the way into what's called your perineum, which is the place between our testicles and our anus. And the reason we're going to breathe that deeply into our system is so that everything calms all the way down into our bodies. So the breath goes all the way in sharply to here, and then you're going to blow all the way up and out through your mouth. And it's sharp, deep breath. And then out through your mouth, calming everything very, very slowly down. The reason this breath works, and it takes about 3 breaths. The first breath, you may still find yourself being a little bit of fight flight. The second breath, you'll start to calm and become very conscious and aware of your body. And by the third breath, you become truly calm. Why is that important? Because your body's immune system functions best when it's in a parasympathetic state. That means when you're calm, relaxed, typically even lying down. But we have so much information out there right now, and it's confusing and it's scary. And you turn on the internet, and as soon as it pops, there's all the pop-ups, and the people are dying, and it's scary. So what we need to do is breathe. And we take a breath, 3 breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth, calm. In through the nose, calm, out, and then the third breath. And it calms you down. It gets you back into control over your emotions. And emotions come on like waves, and we can feel fear and panic and stress and all these different things. But truthfully, we're just a breath away from calming everything down, regaining our composure, so we can take conscious steps into the next phase. We're going to start with your morning, because you have to own your morning to own your day. Now, unfortunately, most people start off their morning with something highly acidic, like coffee of some kind, and then they add into it some form of carbohydrate, whether from oatmeal to sugary cereal to toast or whatever that looks like. Now, once again, those are blocking the binding sites for vitamin C and even other antioxidants. So what we want to do is we want to actually hit our system with something incredibly what's called alkaline that gets our body into the parasympathetic, improves our digestion, flushes our liver, and actually can even get our bowels moving. What we want to do is really flush our system of all the things that our body has worked so hard the previous night when it was healing, hopefully that you're in the parasympathetic and you slept great. So what we do is an elixir of goodness for our body. Now, it may not taste great, but it works fabulously. So what you want to do first off is you want to brush your teeth. Why brush your teeth? Well, oral hygiene for one, but 2, what happens is this stuff is so potent, can actually affect your enamel on your teeth if you haven't brushed them already. So by getting all the other bad stuff off, then what we're going to do is put something super good in. What we're going to do is half a lemon. We're going to begin with what's called apple cider vinegar, and then Himalayan sea salt, warm water. The concoction looks like this. What you're going to do is you're going to warm up the water. You want about 8 ounces of water, as warm as you can possibly handle. You're going to do half the lemon. You're going to start off with, if you've never done apple cider vinegar, it's pretty potent at first. You can start with a teaspoon. I do typically about a tablespoon, and you can even go all the way up to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This is very alkalizing for the gut. Flushes a tremendous amount, really calms the acidity, which sounds ironic when you first do it, but over time, this is one of the best things for your digestion you can ever do. The next thing is Himalayan salt. There's over 60 trace minerals in Himalayan salt. Our bodies need minerals to function. They're parts of cofactors of so many different operations. Salt over the past 20, 30 years really got a bad rap as something that was unhealthy for you. But in fact, the Romans used to get paid in salt. People were, for a hard day's work, they would say he was worth his salt, because salt is one of the actually precious things for health you can ever put in your body. So by starting off the day with this important elixir, you're going to alkalize your system. You're going to supercharge you, get your body so that you have no stress on it as you move forward, to allow that intelligence to really move you forward with as much ease as we can into our next thing, which is coffee. If you're like most Americans, we love to wake up to coffee. And so, unfortunately, and maybe even fortunately, we have become addicted to this substance. Now, it's a very intriguing substance because most people think that coffee is what? Almost always people think it's unhealthy. But the truth is, certain types of coffee are much more unhealthy for you, and certain types of coffee can be incredibly healthy for you, containing incredible amounts of antioxidants that help your body purge out all the free radicals and oxidative stress of your body. That's right, coffee can be and is great for you, but it's gotta be the right type of coffee. And yes, there is a major difference in types of coffee. So I'm a coffee drinker. I do love to wake up in the morning, but I love to wake up to the right type of coffee. And I'm very in tune with my body after all the years of really trying to take care of myself nutritionally. And what I have found is that this is by far and away my favorite type of coffee. It's called Purity Coffee. And Purity Coffee is a coffee company that came out a couple years ago, and they tackled the coffee question with what could we do to create the healthiest coffee in the world? So then we have to say, well, what can be wrong with coffee? Well, coffee can be full of molds, pesticides, chemicals. It can be highly acidic due to the nature of the roasting process. And so Purity tried to actually reduce or even totally eliminate all of those things. So what they were able to do is they had coffee that was organic, had no mold, had no other chemicals in it, and they even figured out a roasting process that allowed it to maintain its optimum level of antioxidants. So coffee can be a superfood for you, and there's tremendous amounts of research showing you that the right type of coffee will supercharge your system for the day. Now, along with that type of coffee, starting off with a good base foundation of the coffee, I like to put other good things in my coffee. So most people, they'll go to Starbucks or the local coffee places and they'll put in creamers and sugars and things like that. Well, I had a client who came in to me about 15 years ago, and as we were doing the new patient consultation, he said that he'd recently quit the whites. And I said, well, what are the whites? He goes, the whites are sugar, flour, dairy, and cocaine. I was a little perplexed by the last one, but I said, okay, so what do those things do? And he goes, well, all of them are highly acidic for the body. He said, do you know what the hardest one to quit was? I said, I don't know. I said, sugar. You know what the easiest one was? Cocaine. So what happens is our bodies do become addicted to things, and sugar, flour, dairy, including pharmaceutical drugs, all of these things can be very and highly acidic for the system. So what we want to do is we want to build the alkalinity of our system, because coffee is still going to be a little bit acidic. But if you have like something like, unfortunately, a very inexpensive brand of coffee, it can be highly acidic. And we want our bodies to always be above 7.0 on the pH scale. So other things that you can add to your coffee, what's become a rage was this thing called bulletproof coffee. Now, bulletproof coffee is they use things like butter, grass-fed butter, and things like that. But the concept really does work. And I'm going to explain what the concept is. When we're adding something into our body, we want it to be alkaline, protein-based, and full of good, healthy fats. All right? Here's why. Your brain is over 2/3 fat and about 1/3 cholesterol. Those are the building parts of your brain. Every cell membrane, meaning the thing that a virus is trying to cross, we want it to be strong and robust and very flexible. And you can do that by putting good, healthy oils in your system that's getting the right omega-3 to 6 ratio. So things like what's called coconut MCT oil is the type of oil that's unbelievably healthy for your brain as well as your cell membranes. We want to do things like collagen. What does collagen do? Collagen is the elasticity of our cells and even the large structures of our body. So the more elasticity your body has, the longer and healthier you live. It's kind of common sense. If you think about someone who has very little flexibility, you rarely think, well, that person's very healthy. But if you see somebody who's like a yoga person and who's really old and flexible and moving gracefully, you think, wow, that person is very healthy. Elasticity is what we want as our bodies go through the aging journey. And we use things like coconut milk rather than regular milk or almond milk. Always do unsweetened when you're doing those things, because once again, sugar, flour, dairy are all highly acidic. Now, play with it. Have fun with your coffee. Start with a great base. Play around. You'll find different ingredients that you really, really love. These are some of our favorites. But try different things out. And you can start off by putting them just in the blender, blending them up and adding them to the top like a latte. And you're going to still maybe be spending that $3, $4 on your coffee, okay, which may seem a lot by making it at home, but you're going to have a supercharged health food that's going into your body with all the great raw materials so you can function your best, really boosting that intelligence and giving it everything it needs so you can have the best day possible. All right, we're going to talk about the go-to nutritional vitamins that you can take to add, once again, not boosting the immune system. What are we doing? We're giving our intelligence of our bodies the raw materials that it needs to function best, right? We want to reduce the stress. By reducing stress, we allowed our bodies to innately, naturally build up. So the three absolute outliers that we've really seen through all the different research, and yes, there's so many different videos out there that show different things of vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. We're just going to break it down into why these work very simply. Once again, stress causes an increase in cortisol, and it causes an increase in insulin and glucose resistance. So your body on the cell has glucose that's trying to get in, and your body needs glucose, all right? But if you put too much of it in, it wears it out. It becomes very tired because glucose produces all these things called oxidative stress and all these free radicals. When your body's immune system is trying to function correctly, it needs other things called antioxidants to pull all of that other stuff back out of the cell. Vitamin C is the primary one, and one of the other things that can help tremendously is vitamin D. Well, vitamin C, the best vitamin C that I've really seen on the market, is called liposomal or even lipospheric vitamin C. Why? Because what they do is they put these cofactors into it that allow it to absorb across your intestinal mucosa and across your gut lining with almost total efficiency. So what happens to our bodies is that if we have a lot of what's called oxidative stress, meaning our body's working really hard, possibly to fight an infection, we need vitamin C to flush that stuff out. Now, humans and other primates are the only mammals, other than bats, okay, that actually don't produce their own vitamin C. I mean, your dog, a 50-pound dog, makes about 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C. That's why they rarely get sick. If they do, it doesn't really last that long. Somewhere along the evolutionary process, we've lost the ability to produce vitamin C, but we still need it. It's an incredible, even vital cofactor. So maybe back thousands and millions of years ago, we were eating tons of fruits and vegetables, and maybe things were higher in vitamin C, but we don't have that now. So you do need to supplement, especially when your immune system becomes stressed or compromised. So by taking what's called a lipospheric or a liposomal type of vitamin C, it absorbs much easier. We also recommend doing it periodically throughout the day. Frequently what happens is somebody will take something right in the morning, and then that's all they do for the day. By taking it multiple times a day, it continually is giving your body the raw materials that it needs to function correctly. That's right, we said raw materials. So that's the other thing that we're going to look at is what's called vitamin D and zinc. Now, the brands that I really like is Garden of Life, and there's a reason, and there's other ones out there, Standard Process makes some process and things, but these are pretty readily available, is because what they are is they're made out of fruits and vegetables that contain the actual nutrition that you want. So there's some things that are made in a lab, and you're getting more of an isolated ingredient, sometimes with some cofactors to help with absorption. But if you read the back of these bottles, they're full of tremendous, like 25 to 50 different types of fruits and vegetables that some incredible way nurture or get out the vitamin zinc and the vitamin D3 out of. So they're readily available, bioavailable for your body is incredibly important. So rather than just take a synthetic into our body, by utilizing these food grade supplements allows for us to have incredibly high absorption. So D3, the reason that we want D3 is because it is one of the single best things that you can do to boost your immune system. What's the primary, easiest, fastest way of getting it? Sunlight. Well, I live in Northeast Iowa, and today there's not a lot of sunlight, and most days there's not a lot, except summer. Well, we just came through a long winter, except most people did here in North America. So what we need to do is supplement, and it's one of the reasons why our immune systems can get run down. And if you've ever been around this area when we haven't had sun for about a month, people get grumpy. It affects your moods, it affects your immune system, it affects your ability to cope with stress. Well, once again, we want to reduce stress. So by taking D3, it helps your body so that you actually have the ability to process the stress of the immune system much better. Zinc is incredibly important in ways that helps boost your immune system. One of the oldest things that's been around is take zinc whenever you get a cold. We recommend not waiting until you get the problem before trying to take care of yourself. Okay, that's what's called medicine, and that's one of the reasons why so much of the research doesn't work when it comes to taking supplements to treat the problem. The best solution is to what? Build your immune system now by taking the right supplementation. Take it throughout the day so that you continually keep in an elevated state with the raw material so your body can function at its absolute optimum. All right, when you watch an animal stretch, they always do the very, very similar things. They do something along this line, is they do what's now referred to as an active resistance stretch. They're actually flexing while lengthening their muscles. Now, most of us were taught that you stretch like this and you do something like that, whatever it happens to look like from our gym teacher or a sports coach that we had. But what we should be doing is stretching like we are taught within the animal kingdom. And most of us, almost all of us, do that to some extent when we first wake up, is we do something along the lines of this stretch and a twist of some kind to loosen up our entire bodies. What we're going to do is we're going to do that to improve your posture, open up your breathing, and get you where you can have as much oxygen as possible to function during your day. So the way we do that is simple, is that we're going to take and we're going to reach above our heads, and it's going to be 3 breaths. And the stretch is going to look mostly like this as it comes down. But the posture is very important before you get started. So we're going to do a little exercise or experiment together. So research shows that for every inch your head goes forward, you lose about a liter of oxygen out of your lungs. So do that quick. Just kind of allow your body to lean forward and take as deep a breath in as you possibly can. Shoulders forward, head forward. Okay, now move your shoulders all the way back and bring your head not just back, but back and up. Rotate it back and up. Really allow your posture to come back, and now take the same deep breath in. You'll feel how your chest rises much easier, you'll get a lot more oxygenation, and it really puts your body in more of a parasympathetic nervous system. So what happens when people begin to try to breathe when they get like coughing or something is they go almost into a fight flight, they get into a panic, because the fastest way of causing your body into sympathetic is to stop breathing correctly. So when you're coughing, anything along those lines, you really lose that focus. What we want to do is we want to open up the breath, open up the oxygenation systems, which is simultaneously decompressing that vagus or the vagal nerve once again. So the exercise looks like this. What we're going to do is we're going to reach above our heads, and we're going to breathe in through our nose on the way up. And on the exhale, pull all below, all the way out, flexing all the way back and up, keeping your chin really, really tucked as you come all the way back and down through the full range of motion. Again, on the breath in on the way up. On the exhale, flexing all the way back down, keeping that chin up, pulling everything back as you flex through that postural tone. Last one, breathing in through the nose, and then on the exhale, blowing all the way out. What that does is it really opens up your oxygen, allows you to calm down, get your posture right, because lots of times people are spending the rest of their day looking down, looking at computer screens, texting, doing all these other things with forward head posture. So we want to open that up. Now, whenever you get stressed during the day, say you're working on a computer for a long period of time, you can just do it once to really reactivate it. So you're sitting, you're typing, you're texting, you're doing something like that. Simple, step back, just a short abbreviated version of it. Let it relax. No one's gonna even know what you're doing. You open up your oxygenation, get your body function, calm your nervous system down, get yourself breathing, and simple exercise. It'll work fabulous for you though. All right, everyone, I hope these exercises helped you. They're simple, they're easy, and they're not necessarily what you're supposed to do when you get sick. What they're supposed to do is help you build your health on a daily basis so that you don't become sick. We have an entire medical system that is trained within the sickness and the disease fighting concepts, but very few people are actively building their health. By doing these things, you become very exclusive company by boosting your ability for your body to fight whatever it needs to, calming the stress physically, emotionally, and even chemically. You are taking an active participation in your health, where hopefully we don't need that other system. Hopefully we just allow that intelligence to flow from what we call above down and inside out, fully expressing health, wellness, and happiness. Have a fantastic day. I hope this helps, and we'll see you on the next video.